Hi, it's Jamie, Progressive #1, #2 employee. Leave a message at the... Hey, Jamie, it's me, Jamie. This is your daily pep talk. I know it's been rough going ever since people found out about your a cappella group, Mad Harmony, but you will bounce back. I mean, you're the guy always helping people find coverage options with the Name Your Price tool. It should be you giving me the pep talk. Now get out there, hit that high note, and take Mad Harmony all the way to nationals this year! Sorry, it's pitchy.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Blog Talk Radio. Good evening, and welcome to Conversations with Sapphire JBlue. I am Sapphire JBlue, and tonight I have author Kenya Moss-Dyme back again, and we will be talking about two of her books. The first book, Devil's Inside, and the second book, Baby Mine. And I will be cross-referencing both books because they both were innocent titles, but really crazy inside. So welcome, author Kenya Moss. How are you?
Thank you. I'm great. How are you doing?
I am doing great. So let's start first with the Baby Mine book. Where did the story come from?
So Baby Mine, the idea came from when I was young. My grandmother used to tell my sister and I about, be careful who you share your souls with, because every person you lay with, they leave a little part of themselves inside of you. So she meant that more of in a spiritual sense. Every person you're with, they're leaving a part of them. They're leaving an imprint on your soul, on your body, on your spirit. So in Baby Mine, the character Jessica, she kind of has a one-night stand with, well, not really one-night stand because it is her ex-boyfriend, but she hates him so intensely because of everything he put her through, and I kind of describe how terrible their relationship was, and she really hates him, but she gave in to a sexual attraction to him. And what happens is she's left with something she can't get rid of. She's got that imprint on her soul from him, and it kind of manifests itself into, the baby that's more of a symbol of hate and all of the ugly things from their relationship. It wasn't created with love at all. So it just kind of turns into this thing she can't get rid of.
It's like a romance from hell, really, to tell the audience. It's a one-night stand, but it's not a one-night stand. And the reason why we would say it's a one-night stand because he's in a relationship. Not only is he in a relationship, he's living with someone, but for some reason he's still attracted to her. And he still wants to be with her because he calls her every once in a while, and he, talks to her every once in a while. And she's like, I want him back, but I know he's in a relationship. So the one time she gives in, it's like he's the devil. And she feels it from the minute she puts him out.
Right.
Because she basically just tells him, hey, this was just what it is, and it's over. Go back to where you live, to be with who you want to be with. And she starts getting sick, passes out. And when she's going through all of this, she goes to the hospital and she finds out she's pregnant. And she's like, how can you be pregnant when you just had sex?
Right. Like
and not only, yes, like the next night. And she's like, I can't be pregnant. I haven't had sex in 6 months. And I just had sex yesterday. What are you talking about? And her girlfriend's like, come on, you were sleeping around, you were sneaky. I thought, her best girlfriend is like her cousin also. And she's like, you know what this is. Stop it. You can be honest with me. And, it's like, she's like, no, it's not what you think. I just had sex yesterday. And her stomach has even started to show. So automatically, we as the reader know there's something going on here.
Right.
Not only is it something going on here, but there's something really weird going on here. So, Arthur, what made you decide to turn it into the creature that it was?
I just thought, what could be the worst thing that would happen? Because it's a story that so many people can relate to as far as, having that attraction to someone that has done you wrong, and you're still kind of attracted to them, but at the same time you hate them. And she got her chance to kind of, throw it in his face and kick him out, but then he turned the tables on her when she needed him, and he was again the person that she knew he was all along. So I thought, what could be the absolute worst thing? Finding out that you're pregnant, okay, that's pretty bad, but let's take it a step further. You're pregnant, but you can't get rid of it, so let's just keep going with this. How much worse can we make it? Because that imprint on your soul never goes away. You can't get rid of that.
And that's when you say to yourself, the author is a horror writer. Because she just takes it to the next level. And the next level is just crazy, because this thing that's inside of her, okay, I want to say this. She tries to get rid of it. And I know people who are pregnant who try to do things to naturally get rid of it. Usually you can't. And all the things that people, it's just, I don't know, it just seems like when people try that, it just seems like it doesn't work. Like regular people will tell you, oh, I moved the refrigerator and I can't carry the baby anymore. When people who don't want to be pregnant move the refrigerator, nothing happens. And they literally usually move the refrigerator from one side of the room to another. Nothing happens. Usually when people who are carrying, they say if I fall down the stairs. She threw herself down the stairs 3 times. And she threw herself down the stairs. There were so many things. She ran herself into walls. Excuse me. It seems like everything she did, all it did was accept what she had inside of her. And what it started doing, is it started fighting her. Like, you're not going to get rid of me.
Right. It held on.
What the thing inside of her started doing is literally hurting her. If she fell on her stomach, it would attach itself to her spine. So that this way it wouldn't get hurt, and she would feel the pain in her back.
Right.
So there was like no way really she could get rid of it. And like she would feel it like she would hit her stomach, it would hit her back. At one time it seemed like it was trying to get a bond with her, like a high five. It was just there. Now, it's so crazy because the main character had went through something when she was younger.
Mhm.
We won't tell the audience what. We'll let them read the story to find out. But she had went through something, and when she went through something, she couldn't have babies. So for her to get pregnant, that was really crazy. So when you first start off, you're thinking maybe there's something that the character is not telling you. Maybe it's something that the author is holding back. But no, it is crazy.
Mhm.
And it is baby mind. And Jessica is caught in this, I don't even know what to call it. I'm trying to think of the word. She is caught in this pregnancy from hell.
She's in hell. And it's almost symbolic because the baby is trying to kill her at the same time. And it's like it's almost like the hate that you carry inside yourself for someone is eating you alive too, and you got to get rid of it one way or another. So it's kind of symbolic in a lot of ways.
Mhm. Because it's like you can't get rid of it. She tries everything. She even tries an old friend from high school, the one who messed her up. And she tries everything she can. She drinks all kinds of concoctions, everything she has, and she can't get rid of this. And when she calls Steve, he's just like, nope, he's clueless, number one. Number two, how can you tell somebody that you're pregnant by them and you guys just slept together?
Mhm.
So she doesn't know how to tell him, what did you give me? So it opens us up to think, is Steve crazy? Is Steve a beast? Is Steve the combination of the beast that grew up? Is it something that he had inside his body? Or is it just the coming together of the hate between the two bodies that created this? Because Steve hated her too.
He did. He hated her, but he wanted to possess her, which is, a common common thing among people. It's like they don't want you, but they don't want anyone else to have you. They just want to control you and own you. And that's what he wanted. He wanted her to still be there for him, even though he didn't want to be there for her.
I think that when you have such a hatred with two people, I mean, this could have been like crazy. It could have been like a crazy baby or something. But it was like a demon. And it wasn't just one demon, which we saw early in the story. There's many of demons there. And it's something that's with her forever. So when you have your title, Baby Mine is the key word because it's hers forever.
It's only hers.
Right.
It's almost unfair because she was the victim and I had to treat her so badly. And it's like, does she deserve that? Why does she deserve that? She's not a terrible person, but I don't know, sometimes it's like that to make it as shocking as possible. It's not always the bad guy that has terrible things happen to them because in real life, good people have horrible things happen to them too.
Yes. It's in regular life, good people, bad people have good things happen to them, and it's the same way. But I think also it's like she used him, and it's like maybe her punishment for using him.
Yeah, a little bit. Yep.
Now, did you want us to think that these were like creatures or science fiction?
I saw them as more of, very distorted, what do you call it, disfigured creatures. Not really science fiction, but just because they represented something so ugly. They were almost like
Mhm.
tumors, you know. Just
Mm.
very evil. You know, I pictured just something very, very evil. And it was just like a lump of something very evil. So, yeah, just more of a creature, absolutely a creature.
Mhm. Now, I saw it as creatures, but I also saw it like alien-like too,
Mhm.
and that's from the bathroom scene. Because I was like, this is kind of like, I don't know, this is kind of like creepy, like alien. The eyes looking up.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, and that was kind of like you know, something I was thinking of something inside of
Mhm.
all the different ways that could go. So yeah, I was aiming for a high level of grossness in that scene.
Mhm. Now, you could go on with this scene. Now, was that meant to be a short story, or is that just a teaser and you have more to give us on that book?
You know, that was the final story in Daymares, and it started out short. Of course, it grew to be
Mhm.
a little bit longer than the rest, so I let it be the closing story of the book. So it's longer than the other stories in the book. I
Mhm.
split it off into its own because at one point I had chopped up Daymares into individual short stories, and I was offering them, you know, as free downloads and so forth to kind of be a teaser for the book. So it was always meant to be a
Mhm.
short story,
Mhm.
not as short as some others. I could have gone
Mhm.
on with it, but at some point you just got to let it go because you're gonna always think of more to add to it. You know, you never
Definitely,
write
definitely,
something and you're
definitely.
just done. Yeah, it could be months
Yeah.
later, weeks later, years later, and you're like, and just doing these discussions, I'm hearing things and I'm thinking, yes, I could have done that. I would love to go back and do that,
Mhm.
but you gotta let it go at some point. So
No,
it
because
is a short story.
yeah. No, because it's like anything. Once you start reading it, once you start writing it, once you write it again,
Mhm.
um, what happens is it keeps on going. You know, if
Right.
you, it's like, I'm going to use example my boss. Like when he gives me something to write, and he'll say, "Oh, go and draft something," and then you go and draft it. Every time he reads it, he's going to change it.
Mhm.
So, and I think that's what life and that's what writing. You know, every time you read something, you're going to change it, unless you just really just leave it alone.
Mhm. Yeah, I've never read anything that I've written and was satisfied with it, like completely satisfied.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
yeah, I would love to expand it, but and I think there's still room for that maybe one day in the future because of the way it ended. But no, for now it's
Mhm.
a short story.
Well, she keeps them, so
Mhm.
there's always room with that secret that you told us.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
there's always room because her secret. You know, everyone, not everyone knows her secret. Her secret is her secret, and it's the baby mind is that it's hers, and because it's
Mhm.
hers, you can always go on.
Yeah. Yeah. And at some point she's gonna run out of room, so
Mhm.
just kind
Mhm.
of leave it to your imagination. Like this can't stay a secret for long though.
Right, and you know, not only that, what if one of them escapes?
Mhm.
Because you know she's learned to contain it, but like you said, after a while you run out of room. After a while, somebody comes to your house and says something, and
Yeah,
you
she's
know she
stuck
has
in
to go on
hell.
with her life. She only took a leave of absence from work. Um, got to do something,
Mhm.
and this
Yeah, it's
thing
kind of
goes
like some
very
of the
fast.
Twilight Zones. Well, the Twilight
Yes.
Zones would just leave you, and they didn't
Mhm.
resolve anything, not all the time. Sometimes they
No.
would just leave that person stuck in hell, and it would go off, and you're like, oh my God,
Mhm.
that poor guy, and he's just left there.
Mhm.
That's kind of how Jessica is.
I
She's just stuck there.
Yes, I thought of the Twilight Zone. I think it's so funny that you say that because I
Mhm.
thought of the Twilight Zone during this whole thing. Now, we have to go into your second story, which is Devil Inside.
Mhm.
When you first told me about this story, you said, oh, this is my experience with cancer. And I was like, oh, I'm just really trying to be, I was like, oh, this is going to be a sad story. It's sad, but it's sad in a different way.
Mhm. Yeah, it's
So tell us about where this story came from.
well, it's loosely based, based on my experience. So there's like over 100 different types of chemo drugs, but one is called the Red Devil, and it's also called Red Death. To give you an idea of how bad it is. They call it Red Devil and they call it Red Death. So it's one of the strongest chemo drugs out there. Very ugly, very nasty. So the scene in the story that it opens up with the nurse kind of fussing about and preparing everything, and she says, they call it the Red Devil. It goes in red, it comes out red. That's actually what happened to me. And it does. It goes in red and it comes out red, blood red. It's the brightest red stuff you've ever seen. And it comes out the same way. Because, usually if you drink something and then it comes out, it's filtered. It's filtered out. It's not the exact same color. It comes out bright red, same thing. And it has really horrible side effects, extremely bad side effects besides the standard ones. You got, gum blisters. You got blisters on your skin. You got this horrible taste in your mouth. Some people lose their teeth because it messes up your gums. So the story came from that. I just kind of took it and ran with it, because of the reputation of this Red Devil and what it can do to people. That's a horror story right there. The whole cancer treatment is a horror story, but then this Red Devil has its own reputation. If you Google it, you'd find so many forums of people talking about it and what they went through. It is horrible stuff. So the character in Devil Inside, her name is May, she kind of follows what I went through all the way up until when she got her appetite back. And the neighbor came over to help her. So that's where we kind of, our paths split. And she starts transforming into this monster. And that's just kind of where the story takes off, with her kind of hiding out in her apartment because of what's happening to her. And at the same time, she's being driven by her cravings.
And the Red Devil basically turned her into a devil. And that's what's so crazy. I had put today that you turned a regular disease into something, and it makes you feel that it's good, because people who are suffering from cancer, it's always bad. You always hear sad things, and you always hear bad things. And then you see this story and you say, well, at least she's not suffering, but is she suffering? The medicine makes her want blood. And it could be human blood or animal blood. So this is another supernatural story. And this is me getting to know the author, because this story is about a woman who has cancer, and we know that it's hard for her. We know that she's in pain. While she's in pain, she asks for her mother, and, she can't reach her mother There's no way to reach her mom. She doesn't have any other family to contact, and she's like, this is typical. I don't have anyone. I'm all alone. So you really feel sorry for her, and the nurse tells her about this medicine that she's going to get that has a lot of bad side effects, but it's the best medicine on the market, and it's experimental. So once you hear it's experimental, you know that it's a bad thing, and you know that it's really harsh. Now, when she first gets the first treatment, and she tells her friend, she's like, you have a lot of kittens. You should give me one of these kittens to keep me company because, I'm here by myself. I have no one. So she says, okay, that sounds like a plan. Well, the kitten doesn't want to come to her. And the kitten can sense that there's something not right. Like when they say animals can sense that there's something wrong with people, and animals can sense that there is something going on. Yeah. The animal can sense it. So when we have the animal doesn't want to go to her, you as the reader go, what's going on here? Something is going on. And so it's like you say to yourself, is this going to be scary, or is it just her appearance? Because the author doesn't tell us much about her appearance in the beginning. Now, after the second treatment, that's when we start noticing that the cat is looking more like a meal than a companion. And she literally just takes care of the cat. And the friend comes by, and I love it. She's like, what happened to the cat? And she was like, he ran out. And she was like, well, he's not the type to run out. He's a home cat. And she was like, well, he left out of here. And she said, well, how come you didn't come and tell me? And then that's when she brings in, well, I'm sick.
She was real cocky. She had such an attitude. Like, when you accusing me of something, like what?
Right. She said, I'm sick. How am I supposed to be chasing down the hall after a cat and I'm sick? And, it's just, I think it was a good excuse, and her friend couldn't say anything about it. And her friend couldn't, you can't really, when somebody tells you they're sick, you can't fight it.
Right.
You just have to say, oh, okay. You got a point there. So then she says, can you give me another cat? Your friend is like, I don't know, because I gave you one. And, it's like, she's like, I gave you one, and you couldn't do anything. What happened? It's like, I don't know. And the friend never gave her the second cat. Because she was just like, she stalled. And, okay, so now we don't have a cat. What do? We have to have someone. Well, the author tells us about the homeless lady that's in the building, and the homeless lady has a dog. And she tells us that, this lady is around, and you give us a story about the homeless lady. Tell us about the homeless lady.
Nina, she kind of represented the type of people that kind of are known in the area. Everyone knows them. You see them around. They're friendly. You know, that type of person. And that's who Nina was. She would hang out in front of the building. Everyone knew her. She'd help you in and out, hold the door for you, help you with your groceries, that type of thing. She knew everyone. She knew everything. She helped May in when she came home from the hospital. So she was very well loved, and she had her dog. And so when May ran out of her supply of cats, obviously, she took to Nina because May had started going out at night. And Nina, she would encounter Nina out on the street at night. So obviously, you know, Nina was friendly, and she kind of fell for trying to get close to May and help her out, and that made her an unfortunate target because at that point May didn't care about anything or anybody anymore.
Because I was like cracking up because the first thing she does is like she talks to, you know, she's like looking at the dog like, hey, this is a meal over here. And then after she looks at the woman like, this is a bigger meal.
Yeah,
you know,
at some point the little animals weren't enough for her.
But, you know, that's what made it so funny, and that's what made it so cute. Because when the cat, you're like, ooh. But when the homeless lady, she said had a distinctive smell. She didn't smell like the homeless. She had a distinctive smell. So she always knew when she passed her door. So it's almost like she was stalking her like a prey.
She was.
And,
she was.
you know, they always talk. And they were always friendly. So when you see someone like that, it's like, And the homeless lady, even though she could sense something was off. And I don't know, is it like when you look at someone and you say, I think this person is crazy. And you just don't know what to say. And that's what it was. She was like, hey, how's it going? She was like, it's going okay. But, I don't know. You seem a little off today. And, you know, she's not going to say, yeah, because I want to eat you. You know,
right. And not only that, Nina, she lived outside and she liked living outside. She didn't want to get close to people. So other than, you know, good morning, let's talk about the weather and keep it moving, she didn't build relationships with people. So when May was trying to stalk her, May was starting a conversation with her and invite her in for coffee. And that was her warning right there. Like, I don't want this. This is not what I do. So why are you trying to invite me into your apartment? This is not what we do. You know, there's that
right. And
there.
you know that's not what we do.
Yeah,
you know,
she didn't want to have those relationships because then people are going to want her to clean up. They're going to want her to, you know, wash herself and put on clothes and interfere with who she is. She was happy being homeless with her dog. So when people start trying to build a relationship with you, then they start trying to change you. And, you know, that's what she got afraid of when May started trying to talk to her and invite her in for coffee. And she was afraid of what was going to happen. Or she just thought May wanted to be a friend, but obviously May wanted more than that.
She was a big meal. She was a big meal. Not only was she a big meal, she wasn't that dirty. She wasn't that clean. She was more than a cat. Now, she goes for a third treatment, comes home, and the nurse comes to her house. Now, to me, the nurse set herself up for failure.
Yeah.
Because if you knew that this has happened to other people, you know that this is a side effect. I don't know how this is what I was thinking. How do you say to a patient, okay, I just want to let you know one of the side effects is that you might turn into like a vampire.
Mhm.
That's not something you really say.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, like with the others, she wasn't expecting it to go as far as it went. So I didn't really get into detail about what had happened with the other people, but I think May's condition kind of shocked her, so she wasn't expecting. Like she said, she had been watching the news, and then she started putting two and two together. So I think May's condition was worse than the others.
Yeah. I think she excelled faster. And to me, she excelled faster because she went for more treatments than, she went to back-to-back treatments. That's the way, like, you had put it. Like, she had went for a treatment, then she went for another treatment, then she went for another treatment. Maybe too many treatments at too many times. And when she checked on her, she also became prey.
And when they cut her off, when they told her she was done, she went and found her own resource. Whereas other people, when they finished, they were finished. May, she didn't want to be done, so she went and found her own resource to continue it, which, kind of helped push her deeper into the dark side.
I think once the cat became appetizing to her, that's when there was a problem. And once it's like they say for a wolf, once you take human blood and once you get that feeling and once you get that, once you get the taste of blood, you got to have it.
Right. Yeah, there's no turning back. If you crave that, there's no turning back.
No. So the ending to this is crazy also. The author has introduced me to her books now. Of one of the reasons why I asked her to come on my show is because I saw that she writes horror, and I like horror. And she's now introduced us to her little creepy side, I guess it is. Now, you have a couple of books out. I'm pulling them up now. Okay. Under Kenya Moss-Dyme, she has The Good Wife. You can buy the complete series at one time, or you can buy 1, 2, and 3. She has Daymares, which we read last week. She's in the Forever Vacancy group, anthology, and that's for the Color of Darkness anthology. And the Color of Darkness is a group on Facebook that mostly horror. I'm going to ask you about your story in there. You have The Pulpit Chronicles, Pray for Me. So you're in a book, Love, Andre, Half Empty, Half Full book, number 4.
Oh, I was just actually like the editor of that. That's not.
Oh, okay.
Does that come up on my page like that?
It says you're like the second part.
Okay.
Because the author DJ Marshall first, and then it says author Kendra. Also, you have The Good Wife, post-coital. You have Winter Chill, and you also have the mixtape, special edition.
Yep, the mixtape is another collection of shorts.
Okay. Do you like writing short stories?
I do. I do much better writing short stories because I have a short attention span. So with a short story, I can get in there, say what I have to say, kind of hit it hard, make that impact, and then I'm done, and I can move to something else. When I spend too much time writing a long form, writing a novel, after a while, I may lose interest in it because I'm doing so much. And if I lose interest in it, then it's going to take me forever to get it done. I love writing short stories. I've always written short stories. So that's my preference. But, some stories do call for much longer format. And I'm willing to do that. It's just I do tend to lose interest after a while. That's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. The Good Wife series. Can you tell us about that?
Now, that's not horror at all. That is kind of a dark, I like to call it a dark romance because it's not romantic. It is very dark and twisted. A lot of people doing some not so nice things to each other. So it's kind of a dark, erotic fiction. So I guess it could be a little bit of horror by the way people treat each other. But, yeah, that's what that is. So that's books 1, 2, and 3, and it ends in 3.
Okay. Now, can you also tell us about your story in the anthology Forever Vacancy? And they're working on a Forever Vacancy too, I think, right? Yeah.
Working on another anthology. It won't be called Forever Vacancy. Forever Vacancy was themed of, because it was set in the Crutcher Motel. And it had this wonderful background where everything happens within the hotel, within the rooms of the hotel, and all of the authors had to write a story of what goes on within their room. So Forever Vacancy refers to that. And my story in that collection is called Roost, and it takes place within the hotel room, and there's 4 friends who get together to commit a robbery of this kind of drug dealer who camps out in that hotel room. And they go there, and kind of what they find in that room is probably the most horrifying thing they ever thought they would find. And it all ties back to Sabine Crutcher, who is the, the person that, runs the hotel, manages the hotel. It all ties back to her. She's like the beginning and the end of it all for everything that happens there. So the next anthology is going to have a completely different setting, different title. It's going to be, again, a collection of authors writing to one concept. And this is put out by the Colors in Darkness. We have a website, a Facebook group, which is, a group that pretty much represents and pushes for exposure of authors of color, multicultural authors in the horror field, in the horror genre.
Okay. Thank you for explaining it. Because I just said a horror group, but you're right. It's for African American or people of color horror books.
Yeah, and, multicultural.
Multicultural. And it's so many, I've discovered so many authors there. I've recommended authors there. And it's really great. And I've found so many great books there also because the administrators, they do promote the books very well. For tonight, I think we did pretty good with the short stories. But I know. A lot. So thank you for tonight. I told the author I will be contacting her again because I experienced her horror, even though Pray for Me, I think, is going to be like a horror too. No.
That's
Pray,
more of a suspenseful story. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's more suspense than horror. It's real people, no monsters.
And that's been out a while.
Not in the,
I don't know.
Not in the supernatural sense. There's no monsters, but there are people that are monsters.
Yeah, I purchased it in October 29th, 2016. So, looking out. Yeah, so I have to get you on with that book. And I want to get you on also with your The Good Wife, A Good Wife. Because this way we get to experience some other writing from you. I want to thank the author for coming on my show. I want to thank her for spending her time with me.
Okay, thank you so much. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too. Thank you, everyone else, for listening. Good night, Arthur. Kenya.
Good night. Take care.
You too.